to show how to use Google Meets, because this year we have taken off Zoom for students. And so really the only way that we can video conference with students now on their school issued device is through Google Meet. And now that we are a Gmail school and we have Google Calendar, it makes it 1,000 times easier to schedule and get them all set up. So we're going to cover some kind of basic tools, how to schedule, how to share that scheduling information or that meet information, and then a few of the bonus features that you might use during your class. So the first things first, like your basic video conferencing, right? You have your microphone on and off, your camera on and off. An added feature here is that Google Meet has closed captioning, and it's actually really, really accurate, and it's really nice. So that would be a great feature for students that maybe would just like to read it instead of listen to it. Maybe they're in a place where they can't have the volume all the way up, or maybe they have auditory concerns that would help them with the closed captioning. So that's a great tool. Just like in Zoom, you have the raise your hand feature. Okay, so I raised my own hand, it stays up, and then it also recognizes that I've talked, so that it's going to kind of put my hand down after a few seconds, or I can say I want to keep it raised until my teacher actually contacts me. Okay. Of course, you have the share your screen, so I can share my entire screen. I do have to allow it that first time. The only thing that I found that I don't like is that when I'm sharing my screen in Google Meet, if I want to pull up, say, a Pages document or something like that that's on my computer and not in my web browser, it doesn't show me who is here on the side. And my kind of trick for getting around that is I use both my devices. So I have my laptop signed in, and that's what I'm teaching from. And then I also have my iPad joined so that I can always see the people that are there in my meeting. And then that also allows me to kind of flip back and forth between devices depending on what I need to do, so that I have both devices readily available. So I'm going to stop sharing. Done. Okay. And then if you click on these little 3 little dots, of course you have where you can record your meeting, change your layout. So this is where you're going to see, if you want to tile, like all the tiles on there. Spotlight is going to be who's talking. I really like the sidebar option, so it shows your main picture in the middle and then all of your tiles of people that have joined on the right hand side. And then of course your end call, and we'll get to these features here in just a moment. But how do we schedule a Google Meet? Now that we have Google, it's a lot easier. So it's as simple as one, I can go to Google. I can go to Google and I can click the little apps icon here, and I can say I want to go to Google Meet. And when I do that, it's going to show me all of the meets I have scheduled for today. This is actually pulling from my Google Calendar, which is nice. And so I can schedule in my Google Calendar, or I can schedule from the Google Meet window. So when I click on new meeting, I can create a link for later. This would be like, it doesn't need to be on my calendar. I don't know if I'd want to do that because I would forget about it. Maybe I want to just share it in my Canvas course or something like that, and just kind of have this running open Google Meet. Start an instant meeting would be like, I want to start one right now, and I'm going to invite people while I'm inside the meeting. And then schedule in Google Calendar. That's the way that I like to do it. So if you click schedule in Google Calendar, it's going to actually take you over to your calendar. So you could have just gone to your calendar. Okay. So it opens up my calendar for me, and it actually goes ahead and creates an event for me. If this was my calendar, if I had just gone in through my calendar, I would simply select the day that I want to create an event, double click. I can create it in this little pop-out window here, or I can click more options. Come on. More options. And it takes me to that full event creator. So Google Meet is my title. I'm going to give it a time and a date. So we're meeting from 10 to 10:30, let's say, on Friday. And then the cool thing is I can either manually click this button and say add a Google Meet, or I'm gonna click this X to get rid of it. Or if I start adding people to it, it automatically creates a Google Meet link for me. So okay. So it'll automatically create that link if I invite people first, or I can click that create a Google Meet. Then I can type in my description of what the meeting is about if needed, and then I would click save. I'm going to remove these people here so they don't get that invite. Okay, and save. And the nice thing about that is there it pops right up on my calendar. It's also going to show on my Google Meet homepage on Friday when I log in, so I'll be able to see that here. Right now in my Google Calendar, if I wanted to access that meet, I would just click on that time. Remember I said Friday at 10 a.m. There it is. And I would just click join Google Meet. As far as sharing that meet information, I just need to copy this information here. So I can just copy this link. That'd be a great thing to put in my Canvas course for students or share via email. Or I can click this little copy. It's copied to my clipboard. And then I can paste that anywhere. Again, I can paste it in a Canvas announcement, in an email, on any other document, anywhere. So it works just like a Zoom link. What's nice about it is it automatically creates it there in my calendar. And last but not least, some of those added features in Google Meet. Remember I said we talk about these. Of course, this is our participants. You can see who's here. You can also add people from here. So I could type in somebody's name and it's going to automatically pull up from my contacts. There it is. So I would click and it would automatically email that invitation to join this meet with me right now. The chat, your little messages, so you can chat with anyone and everyone inside this call. And then you have some other activities. So remember back to last year, we didn't have the option of breakout rooms, and unless we downloaded some extra tools, but you have that option right here. When I click breakout rooms, it says, hey, you want to set them up? How many rooms do you want? How long do you want people to be in their rooms? With my students, if I want them to work virtually on their own. And then as the moderator of the conference, I can hop in and out of each one. Okay. Other activities you have include polls. So I can click a poll and ask a question. Just type it in, type in your options here, and then launch. And what that does is it launches it for everyone in the group. They vote, and then you can see the results of that. The cool thing is it also emails you those results after the meeting is done, so you don't have to worry about keeping track of that during the meeting. Q&A works very similarly, except that your participants are allowed to ask questions. So when I turned on Q&A, I can turn that off. So if I'm doing information, I don't want them asking questions, I just want them listening, I'm going to turn off the ability to ask questions. If I open it up, they can click ask a question, and then everyone sees that as students can upvote it. So if it's a question that they have the same question, I really want to make sure that I hit that. They can vote for it. I can hide this question so that the other students can't see it. I can get rid of it. And then I can also mark it as answered. Okay. And the nice thing about that is it also emails you all the questions that were asked during your meeting so that you can keep track of that afterwards. We already talked to that you could record this. It's just as simple as clicking start recording. And then it'll save that to your computer for you. And then you also have the option to collaboratively start a whiteboard. So if I click start a new whiteboard, it's actually going to create a Jamboard, and it's going to automatically add everyone that's part of this meeting. It's going to add them as a collaborator to this Jamboard. So if we're brainstorming ideas, especially if we're working in groups, we have the ability to write, draw, add pictures, sticky notes, text, just like a regular Jamboard would be. I could go ahead and pre-set up a Jamboard for me and have some information in here that I would share with them and they can interact with throughout the meeting. But that would be a whiteboard. So I could start a new one or choose one that I've already pre-set up on my drive. Okay. And so there's some of the cool new features in Google Meet that will help you while you're doing your virtual teaching. If you want more one-on-one support with this, just reach out to me and we'll do some practice sessions and you can work with those Google Meet tools.